Welcome to the Money Mindset and Habits podcast.
Great to be here.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really intriguing. It's this idea of a daily 10-minute habit.
Yeah, just 10 minutes. And the claim is it can actually help build wealth. Sounds almost too simple right now.
It really does.
Yeah.
We often think wealth building involves these, massive efforts, big salary jumps, killer investments.
Right. And that's exactly what this person we're looking at, Jamal, initially thought. His story is quite compelling because he felt that waiting for those big moments was the only way.
Which led to him feeling kind of stuck, financially adrift even. Lots of procrastination because the big move just wasn't happening.
Exactly. So this core idea we're exploring is shifting focus, not to grand gestures, but to this small daily act of just paying attention to your money for 10 minutes.
Okay, so let's dig into Jamal's mindset first. He really bought into the big dramatic moves theory of wealth.
He did. He was basically waiting for like the perfect financial storm, some external thing to magically sort everything out.
And that's so relatable, isn't it? That feeling that unless you're making some huge change, it doesn't really count, so why bother?
Absolutely. It's that feeling of being overwhelmed before you even start. The sheer scale of fixing my finances can just, well, paralyze you. Jamal was definitely in that spot.
So then something shifted. It was actually a really small moment, apparently.
Yeah, he was just in a cafe, overheard a conversation. Someone casually mentioned spending just 10 minutes each morning looking at their money.
Just looking. Yeah. Not budgeting or analyzing.
Apparently not, at least not initially. The appeal was precisely that simplicity. The source material notes it wasn't about budgeting spreadsheets or investment calls or cutting lattes.
Wow, okay.
Just 10 minutes of attention. That probably sounded, well, manageable, even for someone feeling completely overwhelmed like Jamal.
So he actually tried it.
He did the very next day. Sat down, coffee in hand, opened his banking app.
And what was key, according to the source, was the mindset, right? No judgment.
Exactly. No pressure. Just observe, like, what actually happened.
So what did happen in those first 10 minutes?
Well, pretty simple stuff. He looked at recent transactions, just scrolled through. He spotted a subscription he'd totally forgotten about.
Ah, the classic forgotten subscription. We've all been there.
Totally. And then he did one more small thing and transferred, like, $5 to a savings account.
$5, okay.
Tiny, right. But the point was the ease. Low effort, low stress, fit easily into his morning routine.
And this small daily ritual, it started to have a bigger effect.
It did. It became what he called his anchor. It wasn't just about the numbers anymore. It started fostering this sense of, well, control.
Ah, moving from being passive about money to actively engaging with it.
Exactly. It helped him build what the source calls a financial identity. Even if it was just for 10 minutes, he started seeing himself as someone who, manages their money. That's a subtle but powerful shift.
So the habit didn't just stay static. It grew.
Yeah, it evolved naturally. As he got comfortable just looking, those 10 minutes became a bit more focused over time.
Like how?
Well, the source gives examples. He started maybe reviewing spending by category really quickly, or setting a simple weekly goal, like, okay, only spend X amount on eating out this week.
Still simple actions.
Very simple. Maybe reading just one short blog post about compound interest during that time, or making it a habit to move another small amount, say $10 or $20, into a separate account he called his Freedom Fund.
Okay, so these are really concrete things people listening could actually try.
Absolutely. They show how the initial awareness, that simple act of looking, can naturally lead to slightly more intentional actions without feeling forced.
Which brings us to the core message here, I think. The power of compounding these tiny actions.
Yes, it's so crucial. We tend to overestimate what we can do in one massive burst of effort, right?
Definitely. And we massively underestimate the impact of doing something small, consistently, day after day for months.
It's that slow, steady accumulation. Psychologically, those small, consistent wins are really reinforcing. They make you want to keep going. It's not about needing a huge, immediate payoff.
It's about building a sustainable rhythm.
Exactly.
And did this actually translate into tangible results for Jamal?
It really did. The source highlights that after about 6 months of this simple habit, get this, he'd paid off a credit card.
Wow, okay. That's significant.
Yeah, and he built up a 2-month emergency fund. Plus, he finally started contributing to his company's retirement plan, something he'd been putting off.
Those are real meaningful changes stemming from just 10 minutes a day.
And it wasn't just the numbers changing. This is important, too. He felt different about money.
How so?
Calmer, more in control, less anxiety when spending or saving. Even when unexpected things popped up, like a car repair, he felt more equipped to handle it.
So it brought a kind of peace of mind, too.
Definitely. Which highlights that the benefits go way beyond just the bank balance. It's an emotional shift as well.
That makes sense. The source even suggests that the real wealth gained wasn't purely monetary.
Right. It was the momentum, the habit itself, the solidified identity as someone who is on top of their finances. That became the true asset.
So fundamentally, this 10-minute habit, it's less about complex financial strategy and more about what? Attention.
I think so. Attention, yes. And respect for your own finances. It's about the act of showing up consistently.
It's like telling yourself, this matters enough for me to dedicate even just a little bit of time to it each day.
Exactly that. It's a small commitment that signals a larger intention.
We've seen how powerful this simple, consistent habit can be. It's a real catalyst for change. And if you're finding these kinds of insights helpful and you want more practical tips for your own financial well-being,
Yeah, definitely check out our YouTube channel.
that's right, it's called Finance Tips. Subscribing there will get you even more content to help you on your journey.
Lots of good stuff over there.
Definitely worth checking out. Okay, so back to this 10-minute practice.
What's really striking is how accessible it is. You don't need an MBA or hours of free time.
Almost anyone can carve out 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the day.
And as Jamal's story shows, that small window, used consistently for focused attention, can really yield surprising results over time.
It makes you think about how you could apply it yourself. Jamal's journey really shows that building wealth, or just getting financially stable, doesn't always need those grand gestures.
No, often it's the quiet, consistent stuff, showing up day after day. That creates the lasting impact. It's about building a practice, not chasing some overnight fix.
This 10-minute habit, it really is a testament to just consistency. Establishing that regular rhythm of looking, of being aware, of being intentional.
It's a gentle way to steer things, isn't it? A persistent nudge in the right direction.
So maybe consider this. What could you learn just by dedicating 10 minutes each day? No pressure, just observing your own finances.
What small action could you maybe start doing consistently within that time, even just transferring a couple of dollars, like Jamal did initially?
Remember, it's really not about perfection right out of the gate. It's about starting that rhythm, that awareness, that intentionality.
And that actually makes me wonder, could this whole principle, this idea of small, consistent attention, apply elsewhere in your life?
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Well, maybe areas where you want positive change, your health, perhaps, learning something new, relationships.
The power of just showing up consistently, even in a small way.
Yeah. Maybe that principle is more universal than we think. Something to mull over.
Definitely food for thought. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thank you for listening to the Money Mindset and Habits podcast.
And don't forget, for more valuable financial insights and practical tips, check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Finance Tips.
Thanks again for tuning in.